A society that values order over everything else will seek to suppress curiosity. That's a quote from Ian Leslie. And I've been sitting with this quote and what it means for the world that we're navigating, especially for those of us that are trying to lead from a place of values. When order is prized above all else, more than equity, more than growth, more than truth, it breeds a culture of compliance. A culture where asking questions is seen as disruptive, where challenging the status quo becomes dangerous, and where curiosity gets treated like a threat. And you've likely probably seen this as well, because it's happening all around us. It's happening in our education system, where test scores take precedence over inquiry, creativity, or even critical thinking. And this is especially true for students coming from historically marginalized communities. It's happening in our political system, where anti-woke rhetoric shuts down conversations, whether they be about race, gender, or power, and all under the guise of law and order. And it's happening closer to home in our organizations, where naming injustice or suggesting a new way forward can quietly jeopardize your credibility, your influence, or even your job. And here's the paradox. We say that we value innovation, collaboration, creativity. We put those words in our strategic plans, we stick them on office walls. But what happens when those values run headfirst into the unspoken rule? Don't rock the boat. And let's be real for a second. You can't innovate without discomfort. You can't collaborate without addressing power dynamics, and you can't solve real problems without confronting complexity. So what happens when curiosity and order collide? In my experience, too often curiosity loses because it's easier to go along to get along, to keep the peace, to follow the leader, even when you don't like where the road is heading. And this is where many values-driven leaders get stuck. You're already carrying so much, whether that's emotional labor, cultural translation, unspoken expectations. You may have earned your seat at the table, but you might also find yourself suddenly questioning the table itself. I know I've been there. So what do you do when the cost of curiosity feels too high? When pushing for change might have the risk of you losing your stability, your influence, your well-being? That's the danger of failing to provide critical thinking to the concept of order. It numbs us to where we're going. It makes dissent feel dangerous, and slowly, it teaches us to stop asking better questions. But here's what I believe. I think, honestly, we need curiosity more than ever before. And I'm not talking about that polished kind that looks good on a whiteboard in a brainstorming session, but that radical, messy kind, the kind that invites discomfort, that holds tension, that dares to imagine something more just, more human, more whole. Because order might keep things quiet, but curiosity is the fuel that keeps us alive. So when the pressure to conform feels loud, let curiosity be that quiet nudge that brings you back to yourself. Because where curiosity leads, connection follows. Be well.